Hawaii. I love Hawaii. Aloha and welcome to Betty's Real Estate Corner, brought to you by Sakamoto Properties, where prestige is our business, reputation our foundation. Thank you for listening in today, but it's just a glorious day and I love Hawaii, and every time I hear Danny Couch it makes me want to smile and laugh and sing and dance and whatever, so it's a good day. And a nice welcome here to Mitch Mitchell, just back from a little quick trip to San Francisco for the weekend, and welcome home and welcome back to the radio show.
Thank you, Betty. It's great to be back here in Maui and our wonderful, wonderful island. It was kind of interesting being on the plane, sitting next to honeymooners coming out here to enjoy, you know, all the great things we have to offer. And they're going, well, what about Haleakala? What about Hana? And I said, you got to do it all.
You got to do it all. You know, it's so many times for any of us that live on Maui, and we do all know, lucky we live Hawaii, lucky we live Maui. But being on an airplane, coming home, you can't wait to get home. And I don't care where you live on the island, if you live in the smallest ohana or the biggest house, when you're coming home to Maui, you know how lucky you are. And the visitor who's flying with you, and he's talking, or the couples and the groups, and they're all so excited to get to Maui for the first time or the 100th time. You know, we are the fortunate few in the world to live in Maui.
These newlyweds, Betty, that were sitting next to me, I guess he'd gone to University of Hawaii and was a baseball player, and he had emailed his coach of many years ago as to what to do in Maui, and he had quite a list. It included guri,
Lahaina.
in Kahului there, and I went, oh wow, that's great. You really have a pretty concise list.
Yeah, I think the Lahaina is the top place in the world for guri.
Really?
I think so, but you know, the Kahului one, you're right, that's the one Roy barely goes. That's Roy Sakamoto, my husband. He barely can go to Kahului without guri from the place at the Maui Mall, back in the back there. He loves it. And I think his heart was broken when they stopped putting beans on it.
Oh, yes.
Beans, azuki beans? Yep, azuki beans on, I don't get it, but I did try my best to eat that for a long time, but fortunately they took it away. So I can just
I think he introduced me to that about 25 years ago. Oh my God.
We've all done our best. There's some amazing things. Roy every so often will say to me, can you imagine that you ever thought, or that even the people, you know, family and people from Buffalo, New York, or Binghamton, New York, where I came from and through, it's kind of interesting that you would be eating whatever it would be, you know. I mean, there's so many things that I've learned to love here in Hawaii that surely nobody in Buffalo has ever considered that they might be eating it. So it's pretty fun, Mitch.
It was great. In San Francisco, at a couple of restaurants, they tried to get me to eat sashimi. Oh, you've got to have this. And I'm going, no, this is San Francisco, have the crab. I'll have my sashimi when I go home to Maui.
That's right. Maui is the best, so we are all pretty fortunate. You know, we kind of want to catch you up a little bit on what's going on in real estate. It is an interesting time. The market is definitely moving up, which is really great. And I think, again, I've said this so many times, but we're seeing it happen right before our eyes. The inventory is getting somewhat depleted. You know, I saw something that said that the number in the paper the other day, real estate sales slow down a bit, but the prices jump. And one of the reasons that the sales are down a little bit, the number of sales, is because the inventory is getting depleted. So you can only have so many sales. I mean, people are looking, we don't have tons of property to end up showing them. So it really is a pretty interesting moment in real estate, and I think it's the time, and we keep telling you that, but I think it really is. So call us and let us help you start thinking about what you want to do, or at least get you positioned so you can buy real estate. Call Sakamoto Properties at 808-669-0070. Of course, check out our website, sakamotoproperties.com. Find us on Twitter at Maui Sakamoto, or connect with us using hashtag Betty Maui Radio. There's a lot of ways to get to us, so do it and let us help you. If you don't get in now, it's really going to be somewhat difficult. Mitch, you know, when we're talking right now, we've said, you know, we're trying to get a little bit away from just list and list and list of what's on the market. But what's your thoughts on the idea? Inventory is starting to get depleted, and...
Well, everything I hear, Betty, and, you know, everywhere in the country, you know, it's a great time to buy because the interest rates are going up. I doubt if they'll ever be this low again. And you know, you can get some great, talk to the lenders or the banks or whoever you're with, because, you know, this newlywed couple that I was sitting next to bought something in the Bay Area, and they were able to get a 4.1 or 2 30-year fixed. My gosh, what an opportunity that is to get in the market. And you know, I just think you really need to work on it and do it now before the inventory gets tighter and the prices go up and the interest rate goes up. So I think it's a really good time to at least get out there and give it a shot.
Give it a shot. I mean, one of the first things we keep telling everyone is that what we've got to do is, number one, get your attention, get you to call us, talk to us about what your wants and needs are, and then let us see what we can find for you. If it's a first purchase, it's not going to be your forever place. It's going to be the place that gets you through the next 5 years, 10 years, until your family changes or just your wants and needs change, your income changes. There's so many possibilities. I would talk to wherever your money is right now, whatever money you've got, whatever funds you have, go in and talk to the person at that bank that's doing loans. We have a couple of great people. Fran from First Hawaiian Mortgage, her phone number I believe is 661-8886. And another person recently, David Friedman, who is 385-8558, I think. But if that isn't right, call us, Sakamoto Properties, 669-0070, and we'll get David's number. He's a mortgage company, as is Fran. They both come up with some great programs, and I think that's going to be your jump-off place, is to figure out what you can really afford and then how we can help make it happen.
You know, Betty, I just really think we need to make the first step. You got to get out there and, you know, maybe you can't qualify right now, but at least they'll tell you what you need to do in order to be ready when the place does come along. And you know, we can think about all these things we want to do, but I know if I don't open the door, then it's never going to happen. So, you know, just give it a shot.
Absolutely. We had somebody walk in our office yesterday that we've been working with for a couple of years, owns a property on Maui that actually, it's family that live in it, but he purchased it a while ago and had a couple of loans on it. They're a little bit high, but we've had him talk to lenders off and on when he comes into town because he needs to refinance it so it's a little more affordable. But interestingly enough, he's done just that. All of his debt will zero out in a couple of weeks, and he's always kept payments up, etc. But now he's going to be in a perfect position so that he can refinance that, come up with a lower payment, and possibly buy a house that he'll be able to have here should they retire one of these days. So they're really working towards some goals. But what we're saying is exactly what he did. He started working with some lenders. The lenders were directing him that he had a great credit score, but probably not good enough to spread out what he wanted to do. But once he paid off credit card debt and other debt, he's going to be in a position to do anything that he wants. So it's kind of an exciting time for him, and I think it should be for you also. You know, talking of inventory is an interesting thing. At Sakamoto Properties, we have a lot of great listings, and fortunately for us, they are selling now. We're at a moment that things are starting to really move. There's, in Maui right now, 568 pending sales.
Wow, that's great.
That is great, isn't it? You know, since the first of the year, I think there have been probably somewhere 1,900 or more closings. So again, I think our statistics are getting pretty fabulous, and there's There's never gonna be another time like this. Interest rates, I think, are good. They're starting to edge up a little, but I still think that prices are good, and it's time. So wherever you wanna be, it's time to get into it. We have a couple of really great properties, and maybe we should do a couple of those quick picks that we've done, but we have a great oceanfront home at 5205 Lower Road in Napili, which just had a price reduction to, I think it's $6,995,000. So again, fabulous place. When you go out there, there's a great sandy beach, and there's turtles around all the time, and a really fabulous, amazing home. Don't you think that one's a pretty great quick pick?
I think it's a fantastic house. It's, glass, got the straight out at the sunsets year round. It also has an ohana and a garage up front. It's a spectacular property, spectacular. But Betty, the Bay Villas at Kapalua have been getting a lot of attention lately. And Dean and I have a 2-bedroom oceanfront. I mean, this is like right on the cliff. I remember friends of mine years ago owned it, and I'd go out there for lunch, and in the winter when that big surf comes in and crashes over the rocks, it would just cover their screens with mist. Absolutely fantastic. It's a little difficult to get in, but with a little notice we can. And
get in because of rentals.
Rentals, yes, it's rented quite a bit of the time. And it's listed at $1,695,000, which I think for a 2-bedroom, 3-bath, right on the water, it's pretty spectacular.
It's really spectacular. And what Mitch is saying is the rentals there are really great. So in a lot of cases, that's probably going to be a second home buyer. And the second home buyer can keep it in a rental program of his choosing. He can rent it himself also if he chooses to. But it'll be an interesting moment when somebody takes a look at something like that. Rentals are getting better and better. We know because we're the ones fighting to get in there between check-out, check-in, or the maids, well, the maids are there, etc. So I think really it is a good time, to be able to see something like this. So give us a call, we'll work you in, but take a look at it. The Bay Villas, there's some other properties that I think are amazing there. All of Kapalua right now, all of Kaanapali. I mean, the inventory every day is changing. So if you're listening to this, you're here on vacation, and you're thinking we should be doing something, come on, let's do it.
Actually, Betty, there's one that could be long-term or a permanent resident, as well as having it as a second home. That's the listing you and I have in the Masters at Kaanapali. It's listed at 1-1. It's beautifully refurbished with stone flooring, and it's, for those of you that know the Masters, this is one, it's 1402, it's down in the 14 building, and it kind of sticks out, it juts out so that you can look from the kitchen and any of the other rooms and not really see any other buildings at the Masters. It's really spectacular.
View-wise, I agree, it is totally one of the best views, and when they did the remodel to the unit, they made a major change in the bathrooms. They made a great change when you come in. They changed where the wall was so that it made more of like a little defined entry, made the entry a little smaller, but I think it really works because they also put in this great closet. And for anyone, even whether it's a second home or a first home, we all need closet space. They have a fax machine set up in the entry closet, so that it's quiet for them if things are coming in at night. But again, way worth looking at, and I think one of the biggest views, most private units at the Masters.
They also have their surfboards and bicycles in there. So
that's right.
It's a great place to store inside your house, keep everything, in good shape, and you can lock it up and go on a trip and come back, and it's all right there. It's really a pretty phenomenal place.
Yeah, the closet, I mean, she even has stand-up paddle boards.
Yep.
So the closet really holds a lot. And
As
it's very
well as your Costco stuff.
That's right. We all need our Costco stuff living on Maui. That has probably the biggest change in all of our lives, what we pick up at Costco. Thinking of some other things that are going on right now. Again, Kapalua, I think you're going to buy, there's some great values there. We've got some great listings at Pineapple Hill. We have some amazing properties at the Plantation Estates. I think we're starting to see offers again on some of the bigger properties. So I really think that it is time for everybody. Come on now, let's figure out how we're gonna do this. Again, contact us, 808-669-0070. SakamotoProperties.com, our website, is great because it really gets you into the whole Maui Board of Realtors. Ironically, a lot of people that get to us on our website aren't asking about our listings, they're asking about anybody else's listing, because they're going through, they're getting in, they're looking at Kahului, Wailuku, Kihei, Wailea. Mostly people tend to find us because we are West Maui and that's what they're looking for. But get in there and take a look, SakamotoProperties.com. Don't forget the Twitter at Maui Sakamoto, and connect with us using hashtag Betty Maui Radio. So we're looking forward to chatting with you and seeing what you're thinking right now about real estate and the direction it's going and hopefully continues to go.
Betty, I have something else I need to talk about.
Yes.
Hale Makua Luau.
Ooh.
The Family Luau is coming up. And I know this year it's going to be back at the Marriot in Wailea. And we're actually having the luau. It's going to be, we've taken over the luau grounds for the evening. And I think it starts at 5:30 on the 28th.
September 28th.
Yes, and doors will open at 5 o'clock. We'll have silent auction. I believe we will have the country store again. And
Oh, super.
we'll be able to see the luau show again, which is a phenomenal luau show, and have the same great food. You know, there'll be free self-parking, so be sure and bring your ticket in so that we can get you credit for the parking. And come have a great evening and help us
Make some money for Hale Makua.
For Hale Makua.
You know, when Mitch said the country store, let's explain it a little bit, Mitch, but they end up with a lot of fresh baked goods and a variety of different things.
Plants and flowers.
Yeah, they usually have some great orchids, a whole bunch of things that you buy, and somehow the money ends up with Hale Makua. So I think that will be really fun, and the whole thing is a great fundraiser. We'll have a few of the residents that are there, which is really great because it's an opportunity for them too to be able to come out for the evening. And I think the Hale Makua Luau has always been great. Mitch does a little bit of master of ceremonies from time to time. This year probably not as much because the luau itself is going to be have a lot of going on, yeah. But that's always been fun.
You know, this is a kakua for our kapuna. So, you know, as money tightens up and so forth, you know, there's so many that need help, and it's very hard for us to keep everything running at Hale Makua. So this is a great way to help give back to your community and help our kapuna and our frail and elderly here in Maui.
You know, Mitch is right. I mean, I think one of the things that's going to be happening in our future, and it's a very sad thing to understand, but I think that we've all depended on the federal government and state governments for a lot of funding for things. And I think in the next year, it's going to get harder and harder and harder. And I think our communities are going to have to pull together more and more. So I think we've all got to step up and pay attention to these things. There's a lot of people on Maui that have someone that's at Hale Makua right now receiving help. So don't forget that. You know, Mitch, speaking of receiving help, I think that we should all say a little something about the people of Colorado and how they're suffering right now and what a difficult time it is. And I think everybody should give a special prayer for them and hope that there aren't any more deaths and that people have a way to get their homes put back together. It's going to be really hard, and we have some good friends that are there in Estes Park, and I know that their hearts are broken for a lot of their friends and neighbors, and so far their home is okay. But again, these horrible tragedies happen, and on Maui, we've been somewhat insulated, and let's just hope that always happens. But let's remember right now, we need to help one another. And there's so many issues, so many things that happen here, and let's remember to give, whether it's to the Girl Scouts or to the neighbor kids who are doing a car wash to raise money to go to Honolulu for something, whatever it is, we gotta help one another because we're a small community, and if we don't, then Maui isn't what we all know Maui really is. So let's help Maui. Let's make Maui always the best.
Thank you, Betty. You know, somebody said something to me that the charity walk this last year, you know, I have always made a big push for that for Hale Makua and Hale Makua, all the employees that have worked so hard to raise money. We didn't get first place this year, which was a little disappointing, but we still raised great money. And the thing that I really love is that everybody was out to beat us, so that meant there was so much more money coming in and so much more caring that I think it was fantastic.
And next year, Mitch, we're going after that title.
We're going to try it again, but I just hope it keeps everybody working so hard to raise money for all the charities on Maui. You
were amazing on that, because it was like 4 years in a row, or 5, wasn't it, that Mitch was #1, Hale Makua was #1, so it was really great. If call us though, I mean, remember, call Sakamoto Properties, 808-669-0070. Check out our website, sakamotoproperties.com. And Mitch, how do we tell someone how to buy tickets for the luau? Should they just call us there, or do we have any other way? If you call us at the office, we'll help you figure it out.
Yes, we also have the Hale Makua website. You can do it on the website, which I didn't bring with me. I left it in the car.
Okay. Well, Google Hale Makua. I think it's actually halemakua.org.
.org, yes, I believe it is.
I'm pretty sure, but
there's a link on your site. A link on your site.
Oh, there's a link on our site for the.
Somebody just reminded us. That was one of those duh moments. Yeah, there's a link on our site. But that'll get you there, and you can buy tickets. And it is a lot of fun. Every year that we've done it, it's been a lot of fun, and everybody leaves there happy.
Someone that helped us was Chris from Meijer Computer, and he helps us a lot. He and the whole crew over there at Meijer Computer kind of keep us rolling. So thanks, Chris.
Speaking of Meijer Computer, they have a thing that's going to be coming up again, coming toward Christmas, which Mitch, I believe, is going to be playing Santa Claus again.
Oh, they haven't asked me to come back yet.
Oh, they have, so get over it.
But I'm willing.
Well, we're hitting the 2-minute warning, but I'm going to ask Chris, who's here right now. Can you take one of our microphones for just a second and tell us about that fundraiser and what it is and how it happens?
It's not completely set up yet, but it will probably be first Friday Wailuku. Last year we did it at Kaanapali Properties office, and it's a picture of Santa, and very inexpensive, and all proceeds went to last year Maui United Way.
Wow, that's great.
So we're going to try and do something similar this year.
And Mitch then was in pictures in almost every house in Wailuku, Lahaina. Every kid had a picture with Santa Claus.
That's bothersome.
It was really.
Yeah, we had printed pictures, and they got the JPEG and an email too that they could do whatever they'd like with. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool, because then again, the parents can send that off.
Yep.
You know, everybody should remember to do that. Check it out, and you know, come out for that fundraiser. Call Meijer Computer, or check them out at meijercomputer.com, and probably there'll be a link to this at some point. Chris is kind of smiling, so there'll be one tonight, hopefully. But call us anyway, 808-669-0070. Check out our website, sakamotoproperties.com. We have Danny Couch coming back on, and you might just think he's my favorite Hawaii entertainer, and you might just be right. Hey, you know who I'm looking for, though? If anybody knows where to find Ben L. Mason, he's supposed to be entertaining again in Honolulu. And I've been kind of looking him up on Google and a couple of places, and I'd love to know where he is in Honolulu to see if I could reach him. But here we've got Danny Couch, and I love Hawaii.
Aloha.
Aloha. Thanks for being with us.